with a lawsuit expected to come for AEW and more. This is Wrestling Up. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. Taking to Instagram to promote his upcoming match against Omos, Braun Strowman compared this bout to Hogan vs. Andre, a fight fit for literal kings. There is nowhere on earth you can see anything like this. There has never been a monumental event like this in history, I don't even know ever. The only thing that can compare is Hogan vs. Andre, and while that is a match that has been and will be talked about till time decides to stand still. But the time for me now to carve my name in history is upon me. Time to make a moment that will stand the times of time, and when I'm old and broken, I can look back and say, you see kids, this is where I changed our family, our history, and the way the whole world looks at us. Nothing in my life and any of my family's life has come easy. We are all fine of that, because we know the sacrifices it takes to achieve greatness again. When you're good at what you do, being at what you've done, not one can stop you. After his recent procedure on his hip, Tommaso Ciampa posted a video to Instagram showing off his recovery process. When reviewing the AEW roster and deciding who he would keep, Jim Cornette had this to say about Chris Jericho. Yeah, and I said the same thing for Moxley, denying star power. And that's why I kept Moxley and thinking that hopefully that he would be able to do as instructed. Jericho at this point though, he's been there, we've seen it. I think if you were to keep him, you can't change Chris's mind. He's firmly stuck in 15 years ago WWF, and he wants to be the guy, and he's trying to run everybody out of his way. But if you could control his personality, and you could send him home for a while with an injury or whatever and let people miss him because he went away and bring him back as Chris Jericho, legendary wrestler, he's a babyface, and he comes back and has a program with another top guy. That might work. But now he's just been hanging around for so long and doing his stupid and people are tuning out in droves, and he's surrounded with job guys so he can be the star, and he ain't getting anybody over, so I wouldn't have a spot for him right now. While many are wondering who will return to WWE next, it seems if Matt Cardona does make the move back, it will not be with his previous in-ring name. A fan asked if he was interested in a Ryder WWE return, to which he replied, Zack Ryder is dead, long live Matt Cardona. When asked if WWE missed the boat on Cesaro, now going by Claudio Castagnoli in AEW, Kurt Angle said on his podcast, oh my gosh, yeah, he should have been a 5-time world champion before he left WWE. Not once did they give him the world title. I'm really surprised because that kid could do it all in the ring. When asked about the greatest moment of his career so far, TNT champion Wardlow told ESPN that helping CM Punk beat MJF was the best. That was possibly the best moment of my career, which is crazy because earlier that night, I won the Revolution ladder match, and that was the biggest moment of my career and felt amazing. So it's crazy that was overshadowed by this moment because when I sat that ring down and I turned around and walked back up the ramp, the reaction from the crowd was so powerful. I just knew in that moment that we did it. Like, we did it, and this is going to be bigger than I ever imagined. Talking about who influenced him to get his start in pro wrestling, Shawn Michaels told Logan Paul on his podcast, for me it started with Wahoo McDaniels and Tully Blanchard. They were in Southwest Championship Wrestling. They were the big guys there. But then of course, I'm dating myself, cable television comes along, WTBS out of Atlanta, and then I see Ric Flair for the first time. I'm like, oh my goodness, he's cool. You get exposed to so much more and you go, a piece of that, a piece of that. That's how you begin to mold who you are. If I were to answer the question, look, I probably stole from a guy like Ric Flair more than anything, but I would also throw in the Rock and Roll Express, Ricky Morton out of those two. Ricky Steamboat, he's, what we call selling. He did that really well. Because I was raised in Texas, there's a luchador style, obviously, that I felt was flashy and cool. You begin to piece together pieces of people you like and try to make that your style. With Mandy Rose heading from the main roster to NXT and becoming the women's champion of the brand, Booker T had nothing but praise for the star, saying on his Hall of Fame podcast, "Mandy Rose, man, she stepped up. She's definitely a player, man. When I said she is the best in the business right now, that wasn't just cliche or anything like that. She has come up. Just the looks on her face and her mannerisms, her work ethic, everything is literally on point. You can see her confidence level in ring. I think taking that step back for her and going back to NXT, it was the right thing to do for her. It definitely was. Maybe she got the call up too soon. Maybe she just didn't totally feel it properly." When talking on his podcast, Mick Foley touched on his return to WWE in 2012 as he gave credit to CM Punk for giving him confidence in his promo. "In large part because of Punk, I started to regain my sense of confidence in my ability to cut promos. It's not in fashion right now, but you need to point out the fact that he's lifted people's games in ways you wouldn't expect." Foley would also say this about WWE potentially not considering AEW to be competition. "When people say, 'Are you your WWE loyalist?' I said first and foremost, I'm for the boys. And when I say boys, I mean collectively, the men and the women. I want what's best for the talent, and ultimately, I do believe that what's best for the talent is best for the company. So I love WWE, but I love the fact that there's a strong competition. If they're claiming it's not competition, they're fooling themselves." Speaking about the struggles of Drew McIntyre remaining at the top of WWE, EC3 told the Wrestling Outlaws that the last I have seen of Drew McIntyre was at Clash at the Castle. Two studs, McIntyre and Roman Reigns, out there killing it in front of 60,000 people, a red hot crowd. My last perception of him was that. Sometimes you have that run on top, you're ingrained in that creative's world. He's always in the mix, but he doesn't have to do anything. He doesn't need any change, context, or progression because he's already been there. We know he's our top guy. Maybe it's on him too to slightly evolve himself, or he's just comfortable. I'm in the top 3 no matter what, or top 5, I can get back up there. But sometimes you need something drastic to happen to reinvigorate yourself, not only your passion, but also the fans behind you. Recalling his experience with Stone Cold Steve Austin in WWE, Val Venis told Wrestling Shoot interviews, "I would try to go to Austin every once in a while because let's face it, that guy had a connection with the fans that was unbelievable. And so I tried to pick his brain a few times, but Austin always seemed standoffish to me, very defensive. So I never really got a whole lot out of Austin. A little bit paranoid, I think, and I think that made it a little bit uncomfortable for me to approach him on a regular basis." During that previously mentioned interview, Val Venis would trash The Rock's wrestling acumen, saying, "Now Rock, I would never go to for advice on how to wrestle because let's face it, Rock is not the best wrestler in the world. He does very basic things, but he's smart enough to make those very basic things over like Rover. The most ridiculous elbow drop on the face of the planet, the elbow drop sucks, but it's the best elbow drop going." Taking to Twitter to inform fans of her travel woes, Alexa Bliss wrote, "How about American Air canceling my flight today and all other flights out of Orlando to where I'm trying to go? Sweet. Y'all, my flight is delayed because a tray table in row 17 is broken and we have to wait for maintenance. I can't make this up. Third AA flight that's been delayed this week." When the Young Bucks were asked by a fan why Cody Rhodes left AEW, the man himself decided to chime in and dispel any rumors as he wrote, "I didn't leave because the Bucks are Kenny. I'm forever bonded to those men over what we created, and I remain very proud of it. And I didn't leave because of or have issues with Punk. We got along. Not money, not booking, just a personal issue. Am I wanting to go for the big one?" When asked if she would make a WWE comeback or an AEW debut, Lana told Busted Open Radio, "I feel I would love to go to AEW because the hardcore fans watch AEW. It's not all the commercial fans, it's the casual fan, and of course, to be with my husband. There's so many people over there that I love and miss. If it's Renee, Paige, Goldust, to experience a different promotion for sure would be interesting, but WWE, I mean, I love the storytelling when it comes to the soap opera part, which I feel AEW really focuses more on the wrestling and the matches and the sports part of it all, while WWE focuses on the sports part on the wrestling and then also the soap opera stories that entertain that." On Smack Talk, pro wrestling legend Dutch Mantel spoke about the situation in AEW following the backstage brawl, as it looks like CM Punk will have his contract bought out. Here's CM Punk. He's been in the wrestling business. He's a little bit got that little shady side to him anyway. He's looking for the edge. He's looking for the slope, and now he sees Tony Khan, $1 billion. He's worth over $1 billion, and he is thinking, well, this buying out the contract may not be enough. I think he is still going to end up in a lawsuit. I still believe that. They can talk all they want, and he can say whatever came in there, and he could claim this and this. That's what AEW doesn't want. They don't want to take it down to a lawsuit. When it comes to Punk making a WWE return, Mantel thinks Triple H would put a halt to this. Triple H is going to stop CM Punk from ever setting foot in WWE, and WWE don't need him. If this had been 3 months ago, they needed everything 3 months ago. But they kind of filled those gaps in, and I don't think there's any need for CM Punk.